old faces and happy to welcome some new faces. So thanks for coming to our February Lunch and Learn. Today we're going to talk about cardiovascular health, protecting your heart, a pulse of prevention. So, Ben Franklin had a great saying about prevention. Do you remember what it was? An ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure. So we're going to talk a little bit about prevention. Our heart is a great topic to talk about prevention for, because our heart is important to us, but our hearts are very important to God as well. And we want to make sure that as Christians, we are being good stewards of the gift of a healthy body that God has given us. But the heart really has a lot to do with our spirituality too, right? So there's a couple of verses at the top of your notes. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but longing fulfilled is a tree of life. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones, right? So, and there's so many verses where God makes it very clear that the condition of our heart is tied to the condition of our spiritual life. Would you be more comfortable if I just use my teacher voice?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So a couple of other important verses would be one from Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure is, there is your heart also, will be also. In Psalm 119, verse 11, I have stored up your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you. So in Jeremiah, God tells us, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. Right? And again, in Psalm 51, David requests and asks, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit in me. So God talks a lot about our hearts, and when God talks a lot about something, it's because it's important, right? So let's talk about the physical part of it. Why does heart health matter? Cardiovascular disease, and that's not just heart attacks, it's cardiovascular is your heart and your blood vessels. So cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the United States. Heart disease kills more people in the U.S. than all of the top 5 cancers combined.
Wow.
If you are currently dealing with breast cancer, you are far more likely to die of heart disease than breast cancer. So we always worry about cancer, but it's a much smaller risk than our heart disease. Heart disease develops over a period of time. So we really want to start encouraging our children and grandchildren to develop healthy habits, because it takes years for a lot of this to develop, and it's influenced by your genetics. So that's why if your physicians will ask you, do you have a history of heart disease in your family? What did your mama die of? What did your father die of? Because these types of traits do run in families. So, and then there are other things like your epigenetics. So your tendency to develop heart disease, your genetic tendency to develop metabolic issues like diabetes. There is a genetic tendency for people to develop other chronic inflammatory diseases like obesity. Okay? So I'm just going to say right now that obesity is more than just lifestyle changes or lifestyle choices, because and part of my evidence is for that you can see people who, you can go back 4 generations, and everybody in the family has been kind of geared toward being on the obese side. So these are your epigenetics, but your epigenetics only determine probably 20 to 30% of your risk. So a lot of heart disease is preventable. It really depends on lifestyle. It depends on managing your immunity or hyperimmunity, inflammation, stress levels, sleep, and your metabolic health. Metabolic health really being insulin resistance, diabetes, low thyroid. We'll talk a little bit more on that, but metabolic health usually has a lot to do with hormones as well. So 47% of US adults have some amount of cardiovascular disease, right? That is nearly half. So how many of us are sitting here at this table? So there's a whole bunch of us sitting at this table that have some component of cardiovascular disease. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands though. Heart disease accounts for 1 in every 5 deaths in the United States. I tried looking up because I thought it would be an interesting statistic of, hey, what's the percentage of people who die from their first heart attack, right? But nobody tracks that. So they track the number of deaths from heart disease, but they don't differentiate whether it's your first heart attack or whether you've had multiple heart attacks. So I don't know, but I do know it's fully possible to have never had a heart attack before and then to experience the first heart attack and die as a result. People, believe it or not, experience their first heart attack without having prior warning symptoms. So, which is a little bit terrifying, in all honesty, wouldn't you say? We talk about the typical symptoms of a heart attack, right? So, chest pain, feel like that feeling of an elephant sitting on your chest, going down the left arm, sweaty, short of breath, pale or gray colored. But the scary thing is that about half the people sitting at this table are women. And our heart attack symptoms are different. Men tend to get the kind of heart attack where you get a clot in a coronary artery and it rapidly and it suddenly cuts off the blood flow past that blood clot. And that's what creates that horrible chest pain. It's that muscle that's trying to work with no oxygen, and it creates terrible chest pain. Women tend to develop something called more small vessel disease, and that means we don't get that rapid onset of chest pain, but what you may have is profound fatigue, especially after doing something that requires energy in your body. So for instance, you eat a meal and now you're digesting, so some of the blood flow is shunted to your GI tract and you feel like you can't even get out of your chair. That's a symptom of heart disease in women. So profound fatigue, breathlessness, shortness of breath. So ladies, if you're feeling off, you need to be checking that out because we're not just waiting for the big thunderclap in your chest. Probably not that, right? Heart disease in men and women differ in that women are generally protected from the process of heart disease until estrogen leaves the room. When estrogen goes goodbye, then women's arteries get just as stiff and non-compliant as men's. And it doesn't take long, over about 10 years, women's incidence of heart disease will equal that of men. And then as we go on farther, women's heart disease outpaces men. Our hearts age faster without the benefit of estrogen. So something to think of, ladies, if you're thinking of estrogen in your life. Okay. All right. We talked about the chest pain. Nausea can be another sign of heart attack. So a lot of people mistake heart attack symptoms for indigestion, right? But if you think you have indigestion and you take something for indigestion and it doesn't help you, you need to be getting some help. Okay. I also put on your notes symptoms of stroke. And the reason I put those in is because the process of having an ischemic stroke is the same exact thing as heart disease. Really what we should call it is we should call it a brain attack, because it's really just like a heart attack, but it's happening up here. Right. So I did put the symptoms in there. The acronym is FAST. So F is facial drooping, okay, or facial weakness. The A would be arm weakness. Could be arm, could be leg, but if you have one-sided weakness, then that's a sign to get help. S is speech difficulty. Either difficulty understanding what's being said to you, or difficulty saying the words, or also something called dysarthria, where you just can't pronounce correctly. So if you're noticing someone has slurred speech, that's a sign of a stroke that you should take seriously and get medical attention, because the T stands for time. Right. And that means at what time was the person last seen to be normal or in good health? Because there's some amazing drugs out there, busters. So tenecteplase is the one that's used most often now, and that can be given within a time frame of about 4.5 hours after symptoms start. So after that, then the benefit versus risk profile, you probably will not get tenecteplase if it's more than 4.5 hours out. So these clot-busting medicines can also be given for heart attacks, but if we go to a hospital that actually has a cath lab, a coronary cath lab, usually what will happen is they'll go down to the cath lab and then they will mechanically open that artery that's blocked in the heart and restore blood flow that way. It's faster. And you don't have to worry so much about bleeding to death afterwards. So, all right. So what are the major risk factors for disease? A big one is blood pressure. Blood pressure damages blood vessels over time. It hits the kidneys pretty hard, and it'll damage the kidneys, and then it also damages the blood vessels, and then it gets to be difficult to control. Because when your kidneys become damaged, what they say is, I'm not working all that well, I need to have more blood flow. And your kidneys squirt out a hormone called renin. Renin circulates around, and then it gets changed into something called angiotensin 1. And then angiotensin 1 circulates through the lungs, where it gets changed into angiotensin 2. And angiotensin 2 is a powerful, powerful vasoconstrictor. It makes vessels tighter, and it makes your blood pressure go up. So we really need to control blood pressure before it starts impacting the kidneys, because it just gets tougher once the kidneys start thinking that they need more blood pressure. How can you control your blood pressure? Does anybody know?
Don't weigh so much, and medication.
So medication is a tool, and it's not that medications aren't failures. Medications are tools, and hopefully we can possibly get off medications, but what kind of things can we do from a dietary perspective?
Eat right.
Eat right, so decrease salt, decrease sodium. Where goes, water goes. If you have a lot of circulating volume in your blood pressure is going to be higher, right? So we want to decrease sodium. A great method to decrease sodium is to get away from highly processed foods. Okay. We want to increase fruits and vegetables. higher potassium is great for your blood pressure. Okay? So DASH diet. We also need to pay attention to cholesterol and lipids. The sticky kind of cholesterol that tends to create plaques in your artery that can break off then and become a blockage is the low density lipid, LDL cholesterol. There are other types of cholesterol. The HDL, or high density lipid, tends to be more protective for your heart. There is a little note there about lipoprotein A. Lipoprotein A is a genetic type of high cholesterol, so some people carry the gene for it, and some people do not. So you have to be tested in order to do it, and there's not yet a medication on the market that specifically targets lipoprotein A, but it's coming because there's lots of research going on, even in this community, trying to look for people who have this lipoprotein A gene so that then there can be trials. So that's coming. So if you have a strong family history of heart disease, you may want to get checked for lipoprotein A. So the total cholesterol alone doesn't tell you the whole story. So it's that balance between the LDL and HDL. So let's move on to inflammation. So chronic inflammation can really contribute to heart disease. We can measure signs of inflammation with blood tests. So high sensitivity C-reactive protein is one that measures that measures inflammation throughout the body. So if you are pretty sick and you go to the department, it's highly likely that you may get a test for inflammation, a high sensitivity CRP. The problem is if it comes back positive, it's just a marker that says there's inflammation. It doesn't say that your inflammation is because you have an infection in your gut, or because you have pneumonia, or because you have a diabetic foot wound. It just says, hey, there's inflammation. So inflammation really increases the risk of heart disease. So we want to do things to decrease inflammation. One of those things that we really want to do to decrease inflammation is take care of your teeth. So gum disease is a huge source of generalized inflammation in the body. Okay. And for people who have leaky heart valve, if you have a leaky heart valve, you'll probably be prescribed antibiotics to take before you go to the dentist. Right. Because there's so much bacteria that starts circulating just from cleaning your gums that those bacteria can then stick to that leaky heart valve. So we don't want that to happen. So your diet of whole natural foods, taking care of your teeth, these are things that are going to decrease overall inflammation. Another thing that you can do to decrease overall inflammation is get enough sleep. Sleep, when you are resting, that is when your body is recovering. So we need to get sleep. You need to leave enough time for sleep and good sleep hygiene. So some things that you might want to do for sleep hygiene is go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning. Really reinforce that circadian rhythm. Turn off your screens an hour before you go to bed. So, so the blue light is really, the blue light disturbs your sleep cycle. So,
What if you just listen?
He leaves the screen on all night. David, you're impacting Mary's heart health. by leaving your screen on.
I'm gonna give her a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sleep in a dark room, cool dark room. You'll sleep better. And
That's how
then,
I like it.
yep, cool and dark. A little magnesium helps your muscles recover, helps you sleep, helps you poop in the morning, right? Craig will tell you no mag oxide. Oxide is for the outside. See, I've learned. Magnesium L3 and 8 is his favorite. I also have used magglycinate, and that works well for me as well. All right. So blood sugar and metabolic health. So insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes really jacks up the risk of cardiovascular problems. It shifts the whole cholesterol profile. So when you become insulin resistant, you'll see that the cholesterol, the overall cholesterol, will become much higher. Okay? And then you'll also see changes in that ratio of the protective cholesterol to the bad cholesterol, to the LDL. So it's not something that's super controllable. Ladies, as soon as your estrogen leaves, your cholesterol profile is going to start looking just like the men's at the table. So it's again, it's a process of hormone depletion. So doctors, pharmaceutical companies love to have you use statins. They really love it. And through the years, the level of cholesterol that's been thought of as acceptable has gone down and down and down and down, which is great for the pharmaceutical companies because as they tighten up the parameters, there's more people that end up taking them. There's about a third of us that cannot take statins. It creates a lot of muscle pain, and that happens more in women than in men. So, and you know, statins definitely are shown to change the outcome in heart disease and death from heart attack in men, but it does not have the same profile in women. So there's so many more men that were studied in those initial trials that they just decided that it was, you know, what was good for the gander was good for the goose also. And that's not the case. So women, it does not change our incidence of first-time heart attack. Go ahead, David.
On pravastatin, can you eat grapefruit?
So I believe that they say that you shouldn't eat grapefruit, but it's pretty well dose dependent.
What about ruby red?
Ruby reds are grapefruit.
It's a grapefruit. You can, a pharmacist said you can eat the ruby red, but not the white one.
Oh, that may be true. I'm not 100% certain about that, but I do know it's dose specific. So if you eat half a grapefruit once a week, that is not going to take away all the benefit from your statin. But I would not say drink 8 ounces of grapefruit juice every morning with your breakfast. So, yeah. So your ability to, your cholesterol will go down with physical activity. It goes down drastically with physical activity because it moves the fats from circulating in the blood into your muscles. Okay, so I'll tell you personally, when I started doing resistance training at the gym, in a span of 4 months, my cholesterol went from 218 to 160. So get out there and get moving. Your cholesterol will come down. Your risk for heart disease will come down, for sure. If you have diabetes, especially insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, which is also called pre-diabetes, We have to be careful to control weight. We have to be careful to get physical activity. Is it possible to be metabolically healthy if you're also carrying a significant amount of extra weight? And for some people it is. So there is such a thing as being healthy fat. There's also such a thing as being skinny fat, meaning people are low body weight, but also low musculature and a fair amount of fat, even though they're not overall overweight. People who are thin but metabolically unhealthy with insulin resistance are at risk for heart disease. So we want to make sure that medications are being taken as needed to control that metabolic issue, but with the hope that then you can add lifestyle changes and possibly get off some of those medications. Not all of them have to be for life, but some of them will be for life unless there's pretty drastic changes in lifestyle. And then I want to talk a little bit about thyroid health as well. We talked a little bit about some other hormones. We've talked a little bit about estrogen. We've talked about insulin. Well, thyroid is also a gland that makes hormones. And if your thyroid is not functioning at its optimal pace, not only will you be more likely to gain weight over time because your metabolism slows down with low thyroid, it will also worsen your cholesterol profile. So if you're so you want to know what your thyroid status is. There are some ways at home that might be clues that you have low thyroid. So if you have a low basal temperature, so you take your temperature first thing before you get up in the morning, a low basal temperature may be pointing to low thyroid. But the definitive way to test it is with blood samples.
You mean less than normal?
So less than
low basic, so less than whatever 97.
So less than 97. Is that the number you give them? Yeah. So if your temperature first thing in the morning is less than 97, you might want to go ahead and examine your thyroid health a little bit more, especially if you're feeling low energy and if you're finding that you're gaining weight eating what you ate before and doing all the activities that you did before. It's more common in women than men, but both can get it. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over the rest of the notes to Craig. Craig is a nutritionist. He's also a traditional naturopathic doctor, and he will have lots to add. So some things, rather than me just giving you the bad news, Craig will give you some pointers on how you can get on the right track and have the good news. All right.
You next.
Take two.
All right. Here I am. I get to talk about lifestyle. Woo-hoo.
Yay.
Yippee. Keeps going like, oh, what do I gotta change now?
Hey, boy.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, just get me started. I think, like, who's that guy, RFK? He's like my hero. He was my hero 15, 20 years ago. When I had 200,000 followers on Facebook, and I was in the nutrition and we need to take a real close look at vaccines and stuff like that. And I got canceled. He got canceled. But he knew Trump, so he got his comeback. But I'm gonna sound a lot like him. I would say this, man does not die, he kills himself. Generally, he or she, talking about man, in the Greek, it's a one word, it's anthropos, man, women, child. Eat yourself to death. And it's the processed food. If you have a food label on your food, you're already in trouble.
Oh,
So,
Don't all foods.
how about, let's start with beef. Okay, what can they add to that?
Armand.
Well, yeah, I always get
Is that grass?
grass-fed beef.
there, grass fed or,
I
yeah.
keep trying to talk to the microphone. Because God designed cows to eat
Right.
grass. And I used to have cows. And I had the best cows because I fed them on clover, vetch, and grass. And in the wintertime, I'd feed them a good quality grass with a high protein or alfalfa. But if you want to make your cow fat right before you send them to the market, give them a bunch of grain.
Oh.
And they fat up with grain. But here, if you check their blood sugar, they become diabetic. We're eating diabetic cows. Grain-fed cows, that's a no-no. Cows eat grass. If you're gonna eat a cow, make sure that cow eats grass.
Can you find somebody here that'll sell a quarter or a half beef?
They're on there, I think there's a list called ROBC right here in the valley. I'm on it, and people go on there all the time. It's just, I forget what the acronym is, but ROBC Tucson, you can probably come right up with it. And you could be able to split a cow or quarter cow. I've got a friend of mine raises goats. Anybody ever had a goat that tasted like a goat? Well, his tastes awesome. Why? Because he grass feeds them. He doesn't feed them a bunch of grain and a bunch of garbage. The goats will eat anything. They really will. They'll eat cactus and like it, but his goat, he brought me a section of ribs the other day, and I slow cooked it, and it didn't taste like goat. It tasted like really wonderful meat because of what it was fed.
Mhm.
So your cow should be grass fed. And that white marbling you see at the grocery store, Bashas', you're looking in their meat counter and you look at ribeye and you go like, wow, that one's gonna grill up nice. And look at all that blood sugar. Look at all that diabetes. So, yeah, just because it's all fat and marble, it makes it taste pretty good, but you gotta eat healthy food if you're gonna be a healthy human.
Right.
And you cannot recover your health as a human by eating crap and junk. And if your food label has more than 2 items on it, well, it should have 1 item on it. Apple. What can you do to that? Well, I guess you can wax coat them and you can spray them with pesticides and all that stuff. Or you can get organic apples. The problem is organic, what's the price difference? 40,
30%.
50, 60, 100%. Well, what's your health worth? Well, I'd rather spend $300 extra on the doctor medications than I would organic food a month.
Ooh.
Or would you?
Oh.
Huh. Man does not die, he kills himself. He eats himself to death. The biggest factor in heart health starts right there with diet. So you need a good nutritionist. And that nutritionist needs to counsel you. You need to be real about what you eat, when you eat it, why you eat it, and avoid the crap. You know, this body is a tabernacle, right? You all are the temple.
Right.
Some of you guys have heard this teaching from me before. But inside this tabernacle is the holies of holies. And we want to keep this tabernacle holy for God. So we don't want to imbibe a bunch of alcohol, smoke a bunch of dope, not exercise, eat crap. You know, if you go into McDonald's to eat, I don't know how Trump does it.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my goodness. But you know, I've known people that are alcoholics until they're 101. Raging alcoholics. How do they do that? If I drank 3 drinks a week, I'd probably collapse. I don't know. We all have different tolerances. And we all have different needs. So it's hard to get a cookie cutter. In cookie cut, it's hard to say your cholesterol needs to be below 200 when Fernando needs his to be 240 to keep his hormone. It's a hormone. Okay, and it causes a lot of things in metabolism. And if you short your cholesterol, you could be shorting your estrogen, could be shorting your testosterone. In fact, the body makes testosterone and estrogen out of cholesterol. So if you cut back your cholesterol to, oh, now you're 180 because you were 320 and they gave you statin drugs, and your body says, well, we just got to quit making testosterone. And then your wife's going, honey, take me out, honey, take me, you know. And your testosterone says, I'm too busy trying to keep the heart going. So, yeah, there's got to be a balance. Nutrition, food first. We could stop right there. We can all go home.
Okay.
Right now, food first. Whole, unprocessed foods. The closer it is to raw, the closer it is to unprocessed, the better you are. You know why they grind wheat so fine? I remember growing up, my mother and my grandmother had a wheat sifter. Remember those things? You squeeze the handle and the deal goes around the bottom and the wheat falls out. Why do you do that?
Cattle feed.
To get the weevils.
Oh, no.
Because if it's good wheat, weevils can eat it and they can survive. But if you grind it, the weevils can't get any nutrition out of it, so they ignore it. Plus you grind all the eggs up so they don't hatch. So, I'm not a big fan of wheat, period. Because I'm gluten intolerant. I'm not celiac. But, you know, I eat a little bit of gluten and I'm like, oh yeah, I get this knot right top of my stomach or in the middle of the night. I get this pain in the nether regions. I like, oh my goodness. And that's from eating wheat. So guess what? I don't eat wheat.
No.
But if I went to Europe, I could probably eat wheat. Why?
NGO.
Because our wheat in America is monogenous. And our wheat grows exactly this tall with exactly this big a head with exactly this many leaves, and the harvester comes along and it gets the most of the harvest. So in Europe, majestic wheat. It crossbreeds from valley to valley. Some of it's this high, some of it's this high, some of it's that high. And it's just kind of a pain to harvest. But it's got all kinds of different genetics. When you eat the same thing, you're gonna become allergic to it. So now I'll give you a good example, personal example. I was having breathing problems at night, and my oxygen would dip down in the 80s, upper 70s. Is that a problem, Diane?
A little bit.
And you know what it was? For 40 years, I've been using this crystal deodorant, all natural, twice a day. And I developed an intolerance, I developed an allergy.
Oh, wow.
2 days after I quit, my breathing returned to normal. If you eat weed, processed weed, you're going to develop an intolerance.
Wow.
And eventually you're gonna develop an allergy. And it's gonna cause inflammation, which we heard that earlier, didn't we? Something about inflammation.
Yep.
Diane was saying, inflammation. That's what cows get when they eat grains. Inflammation. That's what you get when you eat garbage food. Let your food be your medicine. And let your medicine be your food. Yes, sir.
You know, how about if you have non-GMO bread?
Non-GMO what?
Bread?
It's better. It's better, but read your ingredient list. It's got 40 things in it still. Might be exaggerating. Figure speech called hyperbole. My wife makes bread from sourdough. It's sitting in our refrigerator right now. She's in Texas, so we don't get fresh sourdough until later next week after this. And it's got like 3 or 4 ingredients. And we have a wheat grinder that goes on top of our mixing bowl. What is that kind of mixer? Get them there, the grinders, the attachment. You put in the mixer you buy at Costco. What is that? Mix Master? No, that's
KitchenAid.
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 Yeah.
And you get all these wonderful attachments. And then we get Majestic wheat, and then she grinds it. And it's just, I can eat that bread. I don't eat it much. I still limit how much I eat because I don't want that pain and I don't want that knot in my stomach. And
How
some
about
people,
sprouted bread? Like Ezekiel bread?
Ezekiel bread, well, it's sprouted bread. It's a little better. The enzymes work on the gluten to help make it a little more digestible. But we do not have the enzymes to digest wheat. Humans do not have the enzymes. Birds have the enzymes. They eat seeds, they eat grains, and their guts are like 3 or 4 times the length of ours by comparison. So, lion eats what? What do tigers eat? Meat. They're carnivores. Their gut is about 1/3 the length of ours. Is there a correlation there? But we're kind of in the middle. In fact, if you really take the ratios and look, we're probably a little more on the carnivore side. But it's about the length of digestion, the enzymes, stuff like that. So sprouted bread does help. Yes, you're right. In fact, Paul, raise your hand. Paul is he has a group with Overeaters Anonymous. And in fact, it's an extreme group, isn't it?
No. Just no compulsive eating. Moderate meals, 3 times a day, maybe a piece of fruit in between.
Yeah.
And I'm down 128 pounds now for 6 years.
I weigh
For 6
135
years.
pounds.
Grace of God. Glory
He's
to
lost
God.
one of me. He really has. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Grace of
do you
God.
feel better?
Yeah.
You look better. Well, I've only known, you've lost probably 30, 40 pounds since I've known you. Yeah, you look better. And you think better.
Okay, since everybody,
Thinks a lot better. Yeah,
can I say something?
yes.
I also used to weigh like 335 pounds.
335 pounds.
And I had this obesity, what do you call it when you eat too much? Well, no, gluttony.
Oh, let me,
Okay, so I got sick with diabetes, full onset diabetes, insulin and medication, plus other high blood pressure, and all that neat stuff that comes with it. Well, anyways, it kind of scared me at the same time, and it took me almost a year to get myself right. I don't have diabetes anymore. I don't inject. I don't.
All right.
I don't carry my sensors anymore. I lost almost 130. The doctor, and the fact of it is, guys, I knew I was doing that, and then what the Bible says, sometimes it says, if it causes you to sin, cut it off. So basically, I did for my health reasons, for my diabetes, and for, if you know what I mean, pediatrics.
Yeah,
Yeah. We wanna keep him around,
yeah,
cause I like my friend.
yeah.
He's a good guy. And he loves the Lord Jesus Christ.
If I could interject, we're starting a men's OA meeting, and if women are interested, I'm available to refer you to, there's quite a few meetings, and very successful.
What I'll try to do, if your email's registered with this group, I will send out a mass email with Paul's link on it, so you can get in touch with Paul. Or you can find him right after here.
Yeah.
Tackle him. Grab him, pull him to the side. Or ask me, how do I get a hold of Paul? And I'll tell you. Or ask Keith. Keith might know how to.
I have some literature in my car, too.
You what?
I have some literature in my car.
Okay, well, you might have to boogie out and get it.
Yeah.
So, whole unprocessed foods, look at that in bold, emphasis added, unprocessed food. Imagine, the Super Bowl ad with, who's the famous boxer and he's eating an apple?
Mike Tyson.
Unprocessed food,
Mike Tyson.
Tyson.
yeah. Vegetables.
Beverly, can you bring him here?
And you want organic. Think about carrots. Why do you want an organic carrot versus unorganic carrot? No such thing as an inorganic carrot. Why do you want, what carrots do? They clean the soil up. So if you got a bunch of trash, stupid stuff in your soil, plant a bunch of carrots, and they will suck up all those bad things and clean up your soil. So then you sell the carrots. What? You want organic carrots. And you want to be careful about your tilapia. Because there's people out there, there's city sewage systems that recycle the sewage and clean it up. And in part of the process, they farm tilapia in that waste. So, you gotta be careful about your tilapia. If you know where, anybody here have Costco membership?
Yeah.
Costco rent their farmers, tilapia farmers, set a net across one end of a lake. And that's where, in the water circulating in the natural, I trust, quote unquote, tilapia from Costco. But that's because I read an article about them. Hopefully they maintain that. But I'm not going to take my chances on some city selling their tilapia to the market after it's recycled our poop and our medications. There are so many medications in our sewage water. So many medications. So, vegetables, you want to eat organic potatoes, they clean up soil too. But you want them cleaning up nutrients out of the soil. So you can eat a good, rich, wonderful organic potato. Legumes, for you who don't know what legumes are, they're frijoles. Beans, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and fish. Limit your refined carbs, your added sugars. if you use honey, your body gets, tastes that honey, and your brain says, that's honey. We know how to deal with this. You know, a little bit of raw sugar, and your body says, well, yeah, I know what to do with this. A bunch of artificial sugars, your body goes like, well, it tastes sweet, quick, put out some insulin. But you don't need insulin because it's not, and it confuses your body. So,
How
you
about
need to be
sugar
eating stuff your body can recognize.
How about sugar substitutes, like
Bigger ones.
Splenda?
They have some more stuff too.
The only way I recommend xylitol. Now, xylitol, some of these actually cause your blood to go thin.
How about steady?
That's a big problem if you're on blood thinners and artificial sugars. You could have a bleed out. If you're getting a bunch of bleeds under your skin, you know, you either A on blood sugars, B, you're on artificial sugars, or C, both of the above.
How about stevia?
So what's that?
How about stevia?
Stevia, it's okay, but you can overdo it. You can very well overdo it, and that is a blood thinner.
Comes from a plant, right?
What's that?
Comes from a plant, doesn't
It is from a plant, but too much, and it's processed. But cane sugar's from a plant, and it's processed, but you can overdo that really easily.
Monk fruit is another natural sweetener that you'll see, but you gotta look at the package because almost all of the monk fruit that's on the store shelves is mixed with erythritol, which
Right.
tastes exactly like sugar.
It's an
But
alcohol.
it causes, it is clearly linked to increased risk of heart disease.
it?
So all of those artificial sugars, your brain tastes that sweetness and expects calories. So it will dump insulin into your bloodstream and it will cause you to overeat later. So people who drink diet sodas eat more than people who drink regular sodas.
So it's not the diet soda itself, it's.
It's the sweetener.
I wasn't trying.
So,
We'll get it right now.
now I do like, xylitol, very limited xylitol, in chewing gum, after you eat for 3 or 4 minutes, loosens all that bacteria up and cleans your mouth, and you'll have healthier teeth and gum. Xylitol knocks bacteria loose. And then it hits your stomach, and your stomach says, I got acid, boom. Right, so, get some xylitol gum. Get some natural, without other stuff in it, or with spearmint or peppermint, or spearmint's my favorite. And then just chew it for 3 minutes, no more. And then, that's all you need, get some.
What's the goodness or the badness of honey?
What's the what?
Of honey? Because I buy it naturally from a farmer that has bees.
Honey's
Now, is
good
that
for you.
bad for us to have honey?
What
Is it good to have honey?
Honey's good for you, Rick.
Honey.
Honey.
Bees.
Oh,
Hey, honey.
well, with honey, you want something local if you can get it.
Yeah, I know.
And what, you want to find someone who has bees.
Yes.
I tried raising bees for several years, but the fire ants in East Texas kept getting into my hives. But I had my bee bonnet, my smoker, and all that stuff, and a bee gets in your bonnet, that's not just a figure of speech.
So his
That's
point was that a small amount of honey can be part of a healthy diet,
Yep.
more so than refined sugar. So your body does know what to do with a small amount of it.
It's better to get it with
Because I get it from
The honeycomb?
The what?
the honeycomb.
Honeycomb, with the honeycomb. I always like to get mine with the honeycomb when I can, but get it local, because the bees are buzzing around in local flowers, and that helps your body
Allergies.
build, it's anti-allergen,
Yeah.
it's antihistamines to your local pollen, your local whatever, but then just use enough, just, like I make gluten-free pancakes about twice a month, because my mother-in-law loves gluten-free. She wants it cooked and crisp and fresh out of the pan. She's ooh, 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 ooh. And that's how she loves it. Well, I will cook one for me and I'll put about maybe a tablespoon of honey, and that's it. Where before I used to go like maple syrup, you know, honey. Just keep squeezing and squeezing the old honey bottle. So, get yourself, you don't need the sugars. You crave the sugars to feed the different bacteria and stuff in your stomach, which are saying, hey, 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 give me sugar. Give me sugar. And it's sending signals. And because you've got all this stuff going on in your gut, and your gut's saying, you gotta have sugars, you gotta have. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, that's a problem.
Do you need honey? I mean, does it help you?
Oh, it's good for you, but it's a little bit of honey. Now, our honey bottle, squeeze bottle lasts until it turns into crystals. And then we have to heat it up in a little pan of water and then, you know, so we can use it up. We just don't do that much sugar or sweets. I used to like one piece of chocolate for my dessert until I found out what it did to my blood sugar. I'm not putting this on y'all, but I wore a continuous glucose monitor, CGM. Get them on Amazon for $50. And you wear it, it syncs up with your phone. You can look at your blood sugar all day, all night. And I would eat a regular lunch, blood sugar, 109, 120, normal-ish. But if I had that one piece of candy, woo, 160, 170, one piece. And I'm like, darn.
Is it,
But I can eat with my scrambled eggs or whatever, a pancake with some honey, and my blood sugar might go to 135.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't stay there. You
does
know.
that monitor of yours, when you were asleep, does it give
Yes.
an alarm?
Even while you're asleep.
Cool.
Yes, and you can set alarms if it gets too low or too high. So, we're gonna cover those, 2 months from now, Diane? When do we cover?
Next month. Next month.
Next month, we're gonna talk about wearable devices and stuff, and what the benefits are. It's awesome. I still have my oxygen monitor. That's how I finally figured out it was my stupid underarm deodorant, all natural.
You mean the light order?
But it could have killed me.
For sure.
It could have killed me.
What was it in that natural deodorant?
It was a natural deodorant made out of potassium alum. That was the only ingredient. Alum is kind of a derivative of aluminum. Aluminum will affect your pancreas, affect your, and in Chinese medicine, this armpit and the lungs are right next to each other. What you put on for your deodorant, right in the lungs.
I
So,
want aluminum free,
what's that?
aluminum free deodorant.
Ooh, well, even alum though is still, if you smell me, I'm sorry. I'm doing no. I set these tables up, and I was working up a sweat this morning.
Oh, boy. Thank you.
I'm not muted, yeah, that was me. So, okay, back to our notes, limit carbohydrates, added sugars, and ultra processed foods. In fact, I would just say processed foods, no, scratch that part out. Food. Choose healthy fats. Name some of the fats you can get, oils to cook in.
Sardines, man. Sardine lunch.
Olive.
Olive oil is good.
Canola.
Canola, that stands for Canada oil.
Oh.
That's what it stands for. It's not natural. Canola, Canada oil. Don't do canola, ever.
Avocado.
Cottonseed oil.
So, a healthy one
That was nasty.
is
Yeah.
olive oil, but you want your first pressing. You want your extra virgin. The first time they press that olive, that's extra virgin.
Right.
The next time they squish that same olive, it's now virgin. The next time they squish it, it's olive oil.
Palm.
And it keeps getting lighter,
Right.
paler, less tasty. You want extra virgin olive oil.
Do you recommend a brand? What brand do you?
Get mine at, Costco's got a 2-pack in the bottle of organic extra virgin olive oil. Yes, sir?
I was gonna ask about organic coconut oil,
Coconut oil's good. Yeah,
avocado oil.
avocado oil's great. Yeah, if you don't want the taste of, well, yeah, on, what did we use on the things? It was, because olive oil smokes. And it smokes at a lower temperature, so we used, it might have been avocado oil, because the temperature was so much higher that it didn't smoke up the submarine. And that's kind of critical. You got 30 guys on a, solid metal tube, 600 feet below the surface. So,
Right. Craig, what they used to use for high temperature cooking is peanut oil.
yes, peanut oil, that
So
works.
that's what they use in like Chinese restaurants with those high flames. So I doubt there was avocado oil out there when
Unless
you
you
were
were
in the military.
Uh,
It's kind of new, it's kind of modern.
What are you trying to say?
I read that when the oil
Peanut oil.
smokes, the smoke is carcinogenic.
carcinogenic. You are building carcinogens in the oil,
Yeah,
not just the fumes of smoke, but in the oils.
in the oil too.
I was just wondering. So, peanut oil. What's the big deal about peanut allergies? Anybody ever had a kid allergic to peanuts? That was a big deal for a while. You know why? Because they used peanut oil as an adjuvant in the vaccines.
Oh, really?
And you stick a bunch of oil in your muscle, your body goes, whoa, clean up on bicep 1. And it mounts an allergic response.
Oh.
And now the kid's allergic to peanuts. You know, the best way to keep your kid from being allergic to peanuts, besides not doing the different vaccines that have it, is when they're just a little infant, get a little tiny bit on your fingers, stick it in the mail. And their body says, ooh, what's that? And their immune system says, well, not hurting us, just a little bit. So, you're
I'm
saying no?
fact checking you
No, on what?
on the peanut oil adjuvant. And while various oils, including mineral oils and some natural oils, have been explored, in veterinary medicine, there's no evidence in the medical literature that peanut oil is used as an adjuvant in any human vaccine.
But back in the 70s,
So,
they did use it. I mean, that's what they taught in naturopathic medical school.
all right, we don't have vaccine for heart prevention, so we're gonna move past vaccine.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
yes. Back to physical activity. You've got to move. Your body's a pump. Your body's a pump. The systems in your body are little sub-pumps. Your body's got to go from acidic in the morning to alkaline at night, and then back and forth. Your melatonin and your cortisol, 24-hour cycles. It's a pump. When you go to sleep at night and you're alkaline, your body pumps the fluids in between all your cells and it collects the trash. When you wake up and your body crops up acidic, you eat your breakfast like a king because your acid is high. Then your acid flood takes nutrients into those intracellular spaces. If you don't pump, you congest, and then you inflame. You need your body to move. That's the big pump. And then you're active, and then you rest. And all these minerals flow hormones flow on the pump. Your gut is a pump. It pumps all the way through. If your pump's not pumping right, you get constipated. And that's not fun. Oh, I heard somebody comment on that. Aim for 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. I think now I keep getting advertisements for silver sneakers, which is the gym. Except I've got all this yard work to do. I'm digging trenches and laying electrical lines and water lines and man, I'm working on cars, I'm climbing ladders, I get my physical activity, at least that. If you don't have that to do, find somewhere. If you're on a stationary bike, put on the God music, put on Faith Community Churches on YouTube. And listen to last week's sermon. Put on their praise team, their worship team. They've got hours of Faith Community Church worship. It's awesome. 150 minutes a week. That's
120.
recommended. What's that?
120?
120, is that for you?
No, that's what I thought was the
Oh,
120.
well, my notes say,
Okay.
It's supposed to be 30 minutes, 5 times a week. That's how you get to 150.
30 minutes, 5 times a week. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Amen. Include strength training. You gotta build muscles. You know how you build muscles? You break them. You tear them down. And then your body rebuilds them. And you need the magnesiums. And you need the calciums. And you need the minerals and the hormones and the nutrition, the nourishment to rebuild. Sleep and stress, poor sleep and chronic stress increase inflammation and increase your blood pressure. If you want to raise your blood pressure, try living on 3 hours of sleep a night for a while. Have a brand new baby in the house. Ooh, I got a few nods on that one. My wife is in East Texas with one of our newest grandbabies, and that baby, they don't know night from day apparently. That's her
I was
life.
gonna ask, there's like a new kind of, I guess, health trend going on, I guess, cold plunging.
Yeah, no,
When
I'm
helping
gonna
with
do it.
inflammation and stress, they say 2 to 3, is that a correct thing, or is that just kind of like a trend?
Stretching's a great thing. It keeps you pliable. If you sit like this all day,
Yeah.
man,
His question was on cold plunge.
oh, a cold plunge. I thought you were talking about
Oh.
stretching.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
cold plunge. Oh, that's gotta be shocking.
It's not for
So
me.
cold plunge helps inflammation in men after workouts. Cold plunge increases cortisol in women.
Oh,
Is that
So that's bad, isn't it?
It's bad for women,
Oh.
it's okay for men.
After a workout.
there you have it.
Is
Nurse's
it bad
Math.
for women after a workout?
Yes,
Even after a workout?
yes, it increases cortisol.
Straight from the nurse's mouth.
That's really bad then, in that case. Right now, the fitness influencers are all doing that.
Correct.
working toward that.
It's all because they only study male physiology with exercise.
All right, so prayer, Sabbath rest, gratitude. Your joy comes from within. Your happiness comes and goes. Jesus, for the joy set before him, he said, I see Stacy coming up in 2,000 years, 2,200 years, and this 22, 26, and for the joy, he died for her. He died for Fernando. That joy was an inside job. On the cross, he was not happy. I don't want to be tortured, but I can still have joy. So, practice joy. Supplements. Supplements. Okay, so anybody here have a problem with a shortage on their income? What do you need for you need a supplemental income.
Right?
But what's the problem?
Because you don't have enough.
It's your income.
You reduce your expenses.
That could be.
There you go.
But the point is, the problem is your income, not your supplement. If you're supplementing It's until you can figure out your outgo
That's right.
or increase your income, then you don't need supplements. Same thing with nutrients. We need supplements because we're eating garbage food, because we're eating processed foods, because we're not getting what our bodies need to survive in our diet, the standard American diet. What does it stand for?
Sad.
SAD.
Oh, no.
Exactly. It's sad. So supplements will support your health, but that's all it is until you can clean up your diet, until you can figure out what's wrong. And I was having breathing problems, especially at night. I did not stop. I kept looking and trying, and I was at the end of my rope. Well, I've quit everything. I've gone off of all my supplements. I got off of changed my water, went to different structured water, and nothing worked. And then one day I quit using deodorant because it was like the last thing left. And that was it. So I didn't need medical intervention. I needed to figure out what was wrong. Supplements support health when used appropriately, but they do not replace lifestyle change, food, diet changes, commonly supported supplements, omega-3 fatty acids. Okay? I love
Little gel things.
little gel caveats, salmon oil. It's pretty okay. I love krill oil because krill are little tiny creatures. Have you ever seen a skinny whale? What do whales eat? They go to the ocean and they scoop up tons of krill and they grow lots of blubber. But it's healthy blubber. Bad fat is bad for you. Good fat is good for you.
So if you go in like CVS and you see B12, or if you buy the CVS brand, is it any different than the branded stuff? Is it better quality or is it the same?
Case by case, look for the ingredients, and we should probably do a thing on vitamins sometime, because there's so many tricky things in vitamins. And like Diane said earlier, never take an oxide on the inside. Oxide is for the outside. If it's calcium oxide, magnesium oxide is awesome for diaper rashes. Horrible for health support. In fact, it will cause indigestion. All right, so we got magnesium. Supports blood pressure, helps the heart rhythms. Deficiency of magnesium is common because of our diets. And when we are supplementing, we're taking the wrong supplements. Some of these supplements, like our iron supplement, it's like trying to push a baseball down a garden hose. You can't do it. It needs to be chelated. Chelate means that a plant digested it and took it in. Now you eat the plant, you eat the spinach that's high in iron, what do you get from it? You get iron. And then you're strong like Popeye. But it's got to be good, healthy, organic spinach. It used to be, let me see if I can get my fact right. Today's amount of canned spinach from the store versus in the 60s canned spinach, it's like 15 cans to 1. You have to eat 15 cans of today's spinach to equal what they used to can. I've made that number up. It's somewhere really phenomenally high. And it used to be 10 to 1, but it keeps getting just get higher because our food quality gets lower. And when your food quality is low, you gotta have a supplement. When you're not eating healthy fats, you're gonna need some krill oil. Vitamin B, B6, B12, folate. Does that sound a little bit like folic acid? But, I'm making a number up again, I think, 16% of humans, so we count 16 people in here, which there's more than that. One of you guys cannot use folic acid at all. Methylfolate, or folate, is what you need. We should do a lecture on those, because I could lecture for 10 minutes on B vitamins, but you need, yes.
What is the best vitamin, liquid, capsule, or tablet?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
If as long as it's a good quality vitamin, well, it's case by case. I can't tell you generally, I like capsules better, but yes,
I made a decision to have my doctor prescribe my B12,
yeah.
so I get it from the pharmacy rather than find it off the shelf.
Okay, well,
Is that any better, or, yeah, is it hit miss?
write this word down, methyl, M-E-T-H-Y-L, methyl. Your liver has methyls in it. And when you get folate, when you get vitamin B, your liver processes it and it sticks a methyl group on it. Now it's called methyl B12, methyl folate, and now your body can use it. Without that methyl group, your body cannot use it. So the best vitamin B will have methyl on the front of it. If you have folic acid and you take it and your liver goes like, oh, we can't use that. In fact, we got to strip part of that off. It takes methyls to strip it to get it ready to put methyls on it. And you short your body of methyl groups and your liver becomes deficient and now you're in trouble. So, vitamin D. But don't get one with canola oil, please. Get your vitamin D with a good, healthy olive oil, something that actually occurs in nature. It doesn't cause inflammation. You're taking vitamin D for your inflammation, but it's packed with canola oil, which guess what? Causes inflammation. So, supplements can interact with medications. Yeah, that's a big caveat. You should Google it. You should ask your doctor. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just gonna reference, you say vitamin D and the comparison with vitamin D3. That seems to be the popular one.
D2, D3.
Doesn't matter.
Well, if you get the combination, I think it's better. Do you have a thought?
D2 is plant-based, I think. D3 is animal-based, and we
Yep.
absorb D3 better.
Yeah,
But
D3
D2
does
will
absorb
get
better.
converted to D3.
But I take the combination. So thanks for pointing that out. All right, so supplements can interact with medications, and so can artificial sugars. Yes.
And magnesium, what does that have in play in too much of magnesium?
Well, you want your magnesium then with ATE. Chelate is good. Malate is good. Biggest bang for the buck is citrate. But your stomach's got to break it down with acid. So in the evening, if you want to take a really good, you heard her say it earlier, would I recommend magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate. People with post-traumatic stress syndrome. Magnesium threonate helps the brain process and flow. That is a go-to. Yes, sir.
Is that 3, the letter N, the letter A, or how's that spelled?
THREONATE. Threonate. Always discuss your supplements if you're on drugs.
And use that in the evenings?
What
The threonate, the evening mag that you use
is it? What?
Before bed.
before bed, the threonate before bed.
Yeah, that's what I think, my opinion, the best kind before bed. Yes.
When I was taking magnesium, I've been taking it for almost a good 7-8 years, 500 milligrams in the morning, every
Got-
morning.
In the morning's the best time to break down your citrate, your malate, your, chelate breaks down a lot easier. because the plant's already absorbed it. But yeah, in the morning, when you eat like a king for breakfast, because you have more stomach acid, and then you eat like a
Offer.
proper for lunch, no,
Fritz.
Prince for lunch, and for supper, you eat like a pauper. Because your acid is flowing down and your alkaline is coming up. Alright, so, use wisdom and balance for your medications. Blood pressure drugs are because you have high blood pressure. Why do you have high blood pressure? Find the cause. Bye-bye. The first thing to do is stop all your processed foods. Stop your Starbucks Frappuccino.
What?
Sorry.
What?
Your energy drinks, someone mentioned that earlier. By the way, this is Elias. Elias knocked on the church door and said, I'm here to help. So we put him to work. He's been here all morning helping set up and push chairs up a hill on a big cart. Many medications, beta blockers, stuff like this, they reduce heart attacks and strokes when they're used, but that's a supplement. Why do you need them? Why is your blood pressure high? Let's fix the problem. Well, in your case, it was 130 pounds of extra weight. All right, key principles. Medications are not failures. Medications will keep you alive until you can figure it out. But once you're on medication, you better be trying to figure it out. Socorro is trying to figure, she is on it. She wants to know. That girl, she thinks she's bugging me, but I love it. Phone calls from her because she wants to figure it out. She wants to get off of anything bad and be on good stuff because she wants to live. She wants to be healthy, yes.
And potassium, I want to ask a question about potassium, with taking a supplement of potassium. Should we ask our doctor first before taking that?
I got the speaker fluttering behind me.
Yeah, so potassium is very important for the heart, the medical system.
Right.
The best way to get it is through your foods, but if you take diuretics for blood pressure, so diuretics are the medicines that make you pee a lot, that will make you get rid of potassium, so you may have to supplement potassium. If you have kidney disease, don't go supplementing potassium on your own, because your kidneys regulate the amount of potassium, and too much potassium is just as dangerous for your heart as too little.
I get stage 3 kidney disease. Is that, and I eat a banana, is that,
A banana's probably not gonna kill you,
yeah.
but you're gonna work with your nephrologist about how much potassium and how much protein, because protein will get you to dialysis faster, where the rest of us need to eat more protein. But if you have stage 3 kidney disease, that's not you. That's not you.
That's where you really need to consult carefully until you get a problem. That stuff can be reversed. How long did you say it takes to reverse type 2 diabetes earlier?
I think it was like
72 hours. People have done it.
took me a little longer.
I'd say it takes a few months, but it can be done. But it starts with what you eat. Okay, we're now into overtime. So if you need to leave, that's fine. We're excited. We're still asking questions, but don't feel embarrassed if you need to leave. But I want to try to finish this up. So, benefits and side effects of medications, they vary with everybody. And Fernando, the blood pressure does not work with Steve. And the different combinations, it's like a crapshoot. So, the Christian perspective, oh wait, back up, plan succeed with good counsel. You need good counsel, you need a nutritionist, you need a good nurse. I've found very few medical doctors I can relate to, but I have a nurse practitioner. that I love, because she is amazing. My sister Diane, who's amazing, and she gets it. And a good nurse, I trust a lot quicker than I do most medical doctors, osteopaths. The shared decision making from the patient provider reflects wisdom. He's smart about it. Christian perspective, heart health is not about fear. It's about faithful stewardship. You know, God said he took this heart of stone. What happens when your heart turns to stone? And you can't pump, or arteries rupture, and it's called hardening of the arteries. Wait a minute, is there a correlation between our fleshly beating heart and the physical heart? Yes, huge correlation. So, caring for the body honors God. This is a tabernacle. I want the Holy Spirit housed in a clean tabernacle. Prevention preserves our ability to serve others. There you go. Love you. God bless you.
I'll see you tomorrow,
All right.
tomorrow morning.
Who wants to be here for their great-grandkids? I've got my first great-grandkid coming in September. I want to be here for it.
I've already got
You've already got them? How cool for you. And we're the same age.
some. Yeah.
Okay. Hope, joy, peace are powerful protectors of health. Somebody call me a liar. Anybody?
Yes.
Dear friend, I pray you may enjoy good health, and that all may go well with you, even as your soul prospers. As their soul is getting along well. Key takeaways. Bob, will let Diane finish that real quick and take us out.
I want to circle back. There was one thing that I did and then it didn't. Because I goofed up, it didn't get added to your notes. How many of you take calcium and D supplements? Does anybody take calcium and D?
Together or
Well,
separately?
just calcium supplements.
Oh, okay, no.
No? Okay. Or together. So calcium supplementation, there's very strong evidence that calcium taken in supplements calcifies the inside of your coronary arteries. It does that in a way that dietary calcium does not. So if you are trying to avoid osteoporosis and you're taking calcium for your bones, then change that around and get your extra calcium from your food. Okay? I don't know why they don't tell us that. Like everybody.
Money.
Yeah, that's probably true. The other caveat that I would like especially our ladies in the room to know is that you have to take the responsibility of getting your own evidence, like get educated. If you are seeing a physician for chronic disease, especially heart disease, all of this research was done with about 10% women in the sample size. So if you are a male and you have a heart attack, you're going to get a beta blocker, you're going to get aspirin, and those are and a statin, right? Beta blocker, aspirin, and statin, and so that's going to help you a lot to prevent a second heart attack. So they take that formula and they put it straight to women too, and guess what? It doesn't work for women. It does not prevent second heart attacks in women. So, and women who are on beta blockers die more often from heart disease than than women who are not on beta blockers. So educate yourselves and call and ask questions if you don't know how to educate yourself.
You said on statins that we should on statins if we have cardio problems.
So some women do fine on statins and it can prevent, but it doesn't, but statins and beta blockers do not improve outcomes in women like it does in men.
Thank you for that, because
Yeah.
I got revelation from the Lord when I was up in healing ministry up in Colorado. I got off my statins and then I wouldn't take them again. And I think I felt not just felt, I'm saying the feeling part, but I knew it, I just knew it in myself that I was much better without it.
So,
So I've been on it for 2 years.
good. Dirk?
And then like, I think the key to, the theme that I'm hearing is that find out why you need stats.
Yes.
What it is, or, because the sooner you get off that, the better you're gonna be.
Yeah, and the pharmaceutical company's never gonna want you off of it. They won't. So,
Heart disease management.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, really, our healthcare in this country is set up on sick care. They don't want you to get better. They definitely don't want you to prevent illness. Like, do you know how the economy falls apart if you dare have the nerve to be healthy and not require medications? My goodness, there's gonna be less billion-dollar C-suite executives.
Well, you know, Diane,
Yes.
my doctor, I got a new doctor, and she said to me, I see from your old previous doctor, you do not like taking medicine. I go, yep, that's right.
Yep.
I said, I do not like taking that. I have to take some, but I'd like to take the other stuff.
Yep.
And also, I do have a history of heart in my family. My mom's side is so strong.
Yeah,
So so I'm really careful on what I eat, and
that's awesome.
it has to be.
Yeah, with that genetic predisposition, you know, heart disease is very, very common. It kills more of us than any other disease process, but it's largely preventable. Your lifestyle choices are paramount to you preventing heart disease. Again, your supplements can support healthy lives, but cannot replace lifestyle changes. Go ahead, Dirk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and could it also be said that, you know, lifestyle choices with the medication, but, heart disease, but could it also be said that lifestyle choices are potentially what causes cancer, both spiritually and physically?
Yes, yes. Cancers are also largely dependent. And again, your genetics or epigenetics, your tendency toward things, that's about a third. That's about a third of your risk. The other 2/3 are your lifestyle choices.
So you have genetic predispositions, and then you have precipitating factors.
Yep. So,
Some of us just can't help being not too swift.
I hear you.
Paul.
Yeah, I brought some literature here for Overeaters Anonymous, a program that arrests compulsive eating and clean and easy abstinence from compulsive eating, and you don't gain the weight back. So, I've lost 1,000 pounds.
Right. This is
I've
just
got
saying.
about 6 years and 64 years of my weight loss.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You'll combine.
So if you need your medicines, take your medicines until you can get off of your medicines, right? You can do it, but don't die while you're trying to get off your medicines. That's the rule, don't die while you're getting off your medicines. And then finally, faith, hope, and joy, right? That's our heart, is to have faith, hope, and joy. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being so engaged, for the great questions, the great conversation. Looking forward to seeing you next month when we talk about wearable devices. I got my Fitbit. Craig will come in with his continuous glucose monitor. So come and we'll eat good food, good healthy food, and have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can find your appointments in your online on the Faith Community Church website.
That's
The schedule of events and things like that.
yes. Yep. Thank you for pointing that out. So.
We should just survive.